All right, lockout has lifted. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of points there at the end. I was trying to work out for a little while who it was. Salmon for 1 point, and Danny Levi 5 points. Tough times for the Danny Levi owners. Happy days if you don't. But lost 6 points there, and 550 ranks it was for 6 points. So ended up losing ranks this week after thinking I'd probably go up a little bit, or I was hoping to at least hold with all the carnage and trading out Cleary. You would have hoped to have gained a few, but I suppose my sort of boom or bust mid-range guys were all more bust than boom, that's for sure. With Karaz getting 89 last week and Rapana getting 61 to go back to 23 and 34, obviously is a big drop there, and hopefully that can turn around in this week upcoming. But they also have some tougher games against, with Karaz up against the Roosters and Raps up against the Eels, I believe there. Taylor May with the 29 as well. So those three, if they can get anywhere near the 50 mark, then I make bulk ranks. But yeah, that's a week-to-week prospect, unfortunately, at the moment. But my trade-ins this week, fairly happy with where that ended up. Obviously with Kai Pearce-Paul was a good one there with the 53. And Lustig the previous week wasn't so ideal, that's for sure. But it's been a regular double trade for me this year. But Kai Pearce-Paul and Jamal Fogarty, who was my captain this week with a 63, doubled that up to a 126. So we'll take that, a nice 40-20, and just base stated his way all the way to the bank, which was good. And he's up to 741 now. I'll get in a second, show you all the price changes for the week, where my team value is, and a bit of a chat around where we probably want to be at this stage of the game after 4 rounds. So Lustig, chopping block big time this week. Let's go through those guys that are on the chopping block and those we're really happy with, and could be buys in your squad. But Lustig's on the chopping block. Smithies is getting he's just lost some money as well, so he's on the chopping block. We have Burbo is struggling right now, so he's someone that's closer to that chopping block. We also have Taylor May, who's a little bit of a worry at the moment. Karaz is a worry also, but he at least has a big score in my possession, not in anyone else's possession. That because I owned him actually at that point. Whereas like Taylor's, I don't have his 60 odd in the first game in my possession as a score. But Taylor's on the chopping block given the bye next week as well, and only have the one Panthers play, which is helpful at that front. Levi gets another crack, which is good. Sammy Hughes with the 8, not good enough, and he's definitely on the chopping block. But there might be a few potential opportunities this week and for the next few, with Morin being out and also Preston being out as well. So hopefully Hughes manages a couple extra minutes, but he didn't do himself any favours on the weekend with that drop ball near the line there. Cotter's all good. Galvin, unfortunately, the 2-week suspension sees him as just sitting on our bench for a little while. I'm also sitting there with Piakura, who is going to be likely out, I think, at least one more week. It could be back the following, but we'll see what happens with team list there. And if he's actually, once the swelling's gone down, he's recovered fairly well. Grant returns, Pat returns, and then Chan, we're not sure if he's going to be out completely, if he's still dealing with his hand issue, or he's going to be in the starting side, or he's going to be on the bench. I think it's either going to be bench or out of the side. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your squad as well this week. But if we're potentially looking at things for next week, firstly, we'll go into look at team value and salary remaining. So team value is 10.788 with 156 in the bank. So let's quickly look at rankings first, and that'll compare us there as well. So top team right now, Jonah, congratulations to him. Falani, Cal, Nuga, and David are in the top 5. So congrats to you guys. Jonah's team in first place, 11.25 milli is the squad value in total. So mine's up at 10.944. So that's not too bad, considering we're 8,607 spots behind first place. We're just under 11 mil, and there's a bunch of guys here in the top that are just over that 11 mil range. And there's a guy in Scott in 15th who's just under the 11, and most of the other guys are 11.01, 11.2, and 11.1, I should say. So we're not too far away, a couple 100K behind, and we can definitely turn that around. So squad value, not too bad. Total points, we're 322 behind. So that's from first place, guys. So I'm 3,027 at 8,600 overall. So 3,027. If we scroll down to 50th place,
We are a couple hundred points behind 50th, and we go to 100th, and we're 170, less than 100. What's that? 170? 190, I should say. 190 points behind that in 100th. So that's not bad at all. That's a couple of good weeks, and you're in that, near that top 100. If they kind of only go solidly and you go above average. So 2 weeks is not too much at all to stress about coming into round 5. That's for sure. Super early. Obviously, a couple of good weeks here is what you want, because you can get in that top 1,000 and you can put yourself in a really, really good position to do some good things. So let's go through the guys that lost and made money in my squad this week. Murray gets over the 800k mark at 803 with a 4k gain. We have Lussick going down 9, so that was an absolute shocker, as we know. Terrell May up 50 this week. Salmon up another 13 with his low score, so that'll bottom out now. Even out, sorry. His break even with that lower score. Smitty's up 43 overall, down 5 this week. Pierce Paul up 36 to 585. Drew Hutchison another 25, so he's up 50 now, which is good. Fogg's up 34, so I got one of his bigger rises, which is nice. Up 104 now for the year. He's at a cracker. Ethan Strange up 76 for us, so 26 this week with that good score, and that'll keep him rolling now, that 37 for a little while. Ben Trbojevic, he's kind of leveling out now after his few low scores in a row. He was doing really well at the beginning of the game until it really slowed down for him, and then he got sent off with 50 minutes played. Sent off, I mean, interchanged. Jacob Kiraz up 9, again after his big week. Tough to see that. Taylor May down 30, so that's a bit frustrating at 592. If he goes low again, he's going to lose a big chunk. So he's a touch and go asset this week as to what we decide to do with Taylor, and I'll work that out in this video with you guys. Geordie Raps up 17 for a 71k total gain, which is nice. Levi up 32 for a 73 gain. Hughes down 9, so to be 287k and go down 9k, it's not fun at all. Cotter up another 10, which is nice. Galvin up 72, but has a suspension to his name. And then we didn't have a game from Pikura, Grant, Pat, and Chan. You're seeing a couple other good gains here in the top section. Thankfully for Hosking owners, he only lost 7k, and he's obviously going to be a sell from here. Hopgood up a little bit above his starting price now, which is cool. Even Isaiah, 2 low ones in a row. 2 257s, and you lose money. It's tough times up near the 900k mark, that's for sure. But we saw that with our captains and the like. And how good's Reynolds been scoring as well? 25k up this week for a 60 average overall. So if we muck around with our team now, as I said, there's a couple of assets that we want to be, we're a little bit unhappy with. So let's move things around now and see the setup that we have. And you'll get the obviously team list video tonight, guys, when I get home from work. It's raining at the moment, actually. So wonder if we'll be outside. I've got soccer coaching now is where I'm at, guys. Junior girls soccer coaching. How fun's that? So there you go. C grade as well. Good fun. I think we'll still train in the rain. But anyway, back to fantasy here in this one. And what we're looking at is 156 in the bank. So thankfully, the Kaipius Paul trade was the correct one to use rather than going for Tommy Turbo. So actually, I didn't even think about that in my videos through the weekend, was that I was looking at spending up that extra money and going for Tommy Turbo. So happy days on that front. I suppose Gutho was the play, wasn't he? But Kaipius Paul, definitely the best option, considering I needed an edge and Smithies isn't looking too crash hot at the moment. That's obviously a position we still do need to look at. And so Grant comes in, Lussick's out. Pap's going to come back in. Who are we going to muck around with? Let's just put one of our dual position guys in Taylor May over to that bench position as well. If we're assuming then that Galvin and Pikura are out, we don't really want to play Hughesy, right? So let's muck around with that. I think this is a good way for you guys to work out if you actually need to trade it and what type of players you need to trade into your side. So let's just say Talon is up in that situation, in that position there. We have Lussick's up there. We don't want Hughes, so he can go down the bottom. So at this stage, if Pikura, Galvin, and Chan are out, I have 18 available. And if Hughesy is our looper, then that's the 17 we're running out. And so who aren't we excited about? Salmon in the middle, I'm fine with. He got that 37, whatever it was, the week before. So that's cool. We can cop that. Smithies, we can cop for another week, given it's likely to be somewhere in the low 30s. Could be up higher as well, considering he's done that. He did that in the first 2 games. Where's that effort, mate? Where's that effort? Obviously, a few less minutes. He had 80 minutes in one of them and 67 in the other. He's still got 52 in that 67 minutes, so he has it in him at least, right? That's the positiveness. So does Lussick. He has it in him. He hasn't shown it for me, and he's more annoying to watch at the moment than what Smithies is, because at least Smithies got me a couple of points. It's crazy what the mindset does when you're looking at someone. You're like, yes, Smithies got a better score last week. That helps for one, but just knowing that he's at least given you a little bit of money making and some decent points is very helpful at that. Strange feels a little bit more comfortable to play now after that week. That was a good one. To not have any attacking stats and score well gives me a little bit more confidence in him, which is cool. Ben Trebojevic, confidence is fairly low at the moment. So what we need to look at with our sides, guys, is, okay, can we make some adjustments on a cheaper scale that's going to improve the team in points? If you can do that and you say yes to that, then that's a massive buy for you, because what that means, like, if you are to bring in like a Xavier Willison, a Blaise Talangi, these types of guys there that are fairly cheap around that 300k mark, right? Because you look at Talangi now, how much did he go up? So Blaise went up to 301k. All right, that's not bad at all. So that put him up, what, 40? Yeah, 40k. So yeah, having a low break even is pretty helpful, isn't it? So he's up to 301k, and then you have Willison as well. I think he would have went up similar. So he was 262. Yeah, he's gone up almost 50k. 282, sorry. Almost 30k on that one, I believe, for Xavier. Let me check that as well. 311, yeah, 28k. So nothing crazy for him. Obviously, Talangi went up a good amount there with the 40k. So those are the two cheaper guys. And you've got to look at your team and go, are they going to benefit my team overall? Because we have a few options in our sides, right? I don't have Cleary anymore. I traded him out. I held him in the head-to-head team, which we'll get to in a sec. But we have Cleary and we have Hines that we want to target. Hines in round 6 and Cleary and potentially round 7. So it's going to be very difficult to get both. Hines is down at 938 now. Cleary's down at 940. So that makes it a lot easier to get both of those guys, or at least one of those guys into your side either next week or the week after. If you're sitting with Hines already, clearly hold him, obviously, and then go from there. With Cleary, we can wait a couple of weeks, but you do want to set up your team in a way that you can potentially target those guys. And if I'm looking at my side now, I have the opportunity to bring a Blaise Talangi in, and then I could loop a Strange or a Burbo, depending on who plays where, right? So you're looking in round 5, and we've got the Raiders playing the last game of the round, so that's annoying. You have Eagles playing in the mid-tier. Especially with Ben coming up against the Panthers and the right-hand side against Liam Martin and Isaac Tungo, you do imagine that that could be pretty tough for him to score really well. So if you were to bring Blaise Talangi in, right, then that could help with that loop as well, right? And who would you be trading out in this team, right? If Chan is out, then he's definitely someone that you could easily straight swap into. If I want to, I could go Joey Lussick to him. Would that be an improvement? I think unlikely. There's every chance that they probably score the same. Talangi could score more if Lussick happens to go under 30 again, or Lussick could go back up and get a 50, right? So is that a massive improvement? Not exactly. But if you were to trade Lussick to Talangi there, you get all that cash available and you get that money-making potential. So that's where you look at it and go, well, that's a bit of a slam dunk, especially when you've got Levi, who's playing there as cover now, which I should have kept in the first place, with Grant returning. So I've got cover for hooking position, Lussick out, Talangi in. Easy. The other option is to go Lussick to a mid-range guy. So we had a few options come in this week. Obviously, Clint Gutherson at 586. You had Dylan Brown, who did really well. He's at 665. So he actually ended up losing that little bit extra cash, all right, with that higher break even in the 60s. So he's potentially a guy that you can look at as well. And I have a couple of issues in the side, obviously, with Taylor May losing that fair bit of cash at the moment at 592. He's someone that people could be looking to target after their buy, or he could just be a little bit of a worry considering they happen to go right a fair bit more. So you could move on from Lussick and Taylor May to a couple of really solid assets there. I could actually go Gutho from May and Lussick to Gutho and Brown is an interesting one that I could just sneak in there. Yeah, by about 15 or 20k, which could be cool. You could go for a Talangi there. It seems to be all Eels guys. That last game, if you look at that, that's where all the real big relevant scores are. And then the rest of the week, there weren't anything too crazy unless you're looking at Sharks guys with Hines and McInnes, but both of them have a bye this week. So
No one else is clearly making bulk money right now. Pierce Paul is a big one, obviously there. We do have to find out what's going to happen with someone like Josh Curran as well. So he's someone to have a look at 586. If he gets that edge position for 80 minutes or close to it, you'd imagine he would get 80 minutes, and they'll recycle the middle forwards in there if he goes in there. And they've got Morin out as well. That, you know, if Powasa comes back, if Hughes is in there, maybe they can shuffle through with Kurt Mann, Jamin Salmon. Maybe that benefits Jamin Salmon as well. So Curran at 586 is another really clear option that you could look at. And in that scenario, it would end up with two really good scorers, whether it's Gutho and Curran, or Brown and Curran, or KPP and Josh Curran, or one of them with a cheapie as well to set yourself up really well. So I hope that helped you guys in having a look at your side and seeing where you're at. Because right now, without Chan playing, I've got 18 available, can loop Hughes and can make that decision there, or loop Burbo and make that decision from there. I do see myself potentially making a couple more trades, and someone did ask me, obviously with us max trading each and every week at the moment, it's definitely a little bit of an issue. But in a few weeks, we get to make 3 trades a week, and then when we get to Origin time, we get to make 4 trades a week. And what a lot of people get caught in doing is 3 and 4 trading per week during that time, where, especially if you've double traded every week for the start here, during those 3 and 4 trade weeks, there might be a time where you do have to be a little bit more conservative and make sure you're getting the correct buy players in, the guys that, you know, fit better over the buy period, is how I should say that. And if you're unsure, guys, check out my impact of the next 3 games video that's going to come out later tonight as well, where I do go ahead and show you all those guys that have, or those teams that have buys in certain weeks. And if you can set yourself up a little bit better over that time, then you don't have to trade as much. So making sure you get things right over the beginning of the season here whilst trading pretty heavily, when you can only make 2 trades, is pretty helpful, because you're actually restricted to then when that, you know, part of the season comes along, you can make the 1, the 2, or maybe even the 3 at max, and you're not going to that 4 trades there. Whereas it's very quickly you're removing and reducing the amount of trades you have remaining. So think about that when you are making double trades at the moment, that we are going to have to save some at some point, and maybe instead of 4 trading in those weeks, quad trading, we can go down to 1 or 2, and then have certain weeks there if we've actually planned ahead, which I'll start to get into those types of videos from next week. This one's a very condensed week in round 5, but from round 6 I'll get in and have a little bit more of a deeper dive in this video, I should say, into the types of players you want to be looking at. Something I have to look ahead for is my Raiders players. So Smithy's definitely going to go. I do think Rapana's going to go as well eventually, and then one of Levi or Strange. And I suppose by that point, if I've got rid of those 2 and I'm holding Fogarty, I could hold Strange and Levi into their buy, and that would be fine. And those guys could carry me through round 13, which could be cool in some awkward positions, given it's hooker, center, or half. And then the other half, obviously, with Fogarty as well. So plenty to think about with this side. Obviously, looking towards the buy period as well, considering I'm going to be double trading, I think, again this week to get things sorted. I want to get my rank in a good position that I can then look ahead to the buys, plan ahead a little bit, make certain trades that get me in a right position, that if I want to have the luxury to not trade because I have enough players in certain weeks in round 13 or 14 or 15 and the like, that I can do that. And I'm not forced to trade just to get a certain number of players on the park. So that's my team at the moment. I hope that really helped you. I kind of covered a lot of different topics in this video. So make sure that if your mates haven't seen this one, I'd absolutely appreciate it if you let them know as well. Unless you don't want to give them an edge, but you're here to help me as well. So thank you very much for that. This is my team. This is where it's at. I think it went a lot better than what my head-to-head team has. I haven't looked at after yesterday's scoring. I haven't looked yet. So let's hope that it was okay. But I do fear that it wasn't great, given I captained Tommy. I didn't have 17. Didn't have Danny Levi. And yeah, so that's that. We'll get into that one now. Ugh, wasn't that a disgusting score at 646? Gross. 14,896 overall now after being 4,493 last week. We held Cleary and it didn't go our way, sadly. Played with 16 as well, so that wasn't ideal. Had Hosking as an injured man. Oh, Hosking went up massive. What? So Levi was on... Yeah, right, okay. Levi was on 49 down to 44. Hosking goes up to 22. Okay, there you go. So that helped this team anyway, not having Levi and owning Hosking. Okay, I didn't expect that. So there you go. Anyway, my trades this week, I brought in Blaze Talangi, which 34 worked out pretty well. Happy with that, and brought in Galvin. So good score for him, good price rise, but unfortunately, it didn't work out on the other front. That's for sure. The captaincy was a little bit low, losing 24 points on Fogs. Sully a bit low at 22. He's been a bit frustrating. Terrell in there being good. Drinkwater being good as well at 58. So a couple of good things, a couple of not so good things, and some movement we need to do. Another double trade week, unfortunately. Unlikely that Tuapiki comes back in. No Galvin, no Hosking. So 1, 2, 3 there on that front. Let's just say Chan's out, so that would be 4. Pikura out 5, Cleary out 6. Ooh, yep. So we're playing Hughes this week. Oh, it's getting tough, isn't it? Okay, so 300k in the bank as well. That's pretty wild. So I do expect Hosking to be a trade out this week. This means I'm clearly holding Nathan Cleary. That's for sure. So let's move into round 5 now with that 300k in the bank there. So Papman Hilson comes in to the fray there. Does Terrell May become captain again? Probably. Let's just move it to him now. That'll be fun. Fogs can be vice. It won't be the case given he plays in the back end of the week. But Pat, Turbo, Drinkwater is a lovely back 3. We got Blaze in the centres, so let's definitely pop him in for Burbo at this stage. I think we're going to try and pop him down a little bit, but Hosking. How do we play this one, guys? So we have unlimited bank, basically. And now that we have Blaze already, that's cool. We don't have to worry about a cash cow this week. We are all about points in this one. So let's quickly check where we were on our leagues and if we won any of them. 646, we got one of them here with 592. That's tough. Lost the next one by 6. Won the next one. That's cool. Got pumped there. So we won a couple of them. Not too bad. Not too bad. We won like almost half, actually. So it could have been worse. And we're sitting pretty close to the top 4. We're out of the top 4 in 3 of them, which is fine. We got smashed in that one. So that's all right. We'll fix this up. And so what that means here is I just think that because we lost a bunch, let's go for points this week. And that would mean Hosking is a really cool trade out. What we want to look at, though, in this side is if we can try and get enough cash in our bank to be able to go straight to Nicholas Hines next week, because I think that is a terrific option for our side. What that means this week is guys like Kai Pearce-Paul are a pretty solid option. We are struggling a little bit in the center position, but with Blaze in there and Sully, like they have the ability to go really good, which is cool. If Tane Tuapiki is out this week, I think we can double gun up in Hosking and Tuapiki. At the moment, our edge position, our mid position is a little bit dire. So it could be Tane Tuapiki and Hosking to potentially like a Kai Pearce-Paul and a Josh Curran. It could be Dylan Brown potentially. So Hutchison at the moment needs to go to Galvin. Galvin's going to be out. We're not going to be looping, obviously. Yeah, so it could just be... We do have enough halves, but if we're looking to get Nico and we already have Tuapiki, then it might just be a fact of going for some edge. Some edge love. We could go for Harry Grant. That could be fun. Harry Grant's at what? 765. SJ is an interesting one as well, considering he's lost a bit of cash. Tohu Harris is really cool to grab. We got Carrigan, but he's up at 787. Yeah, because it can go Hosking to any one of those guys, and we can go Tane Tuapiki up to like a Kai Pearce-Paul. And that could work. And whether it is, Harry Grant, the play, or we get one of those other gun mids, and we can use Tupanua down in our edge position, but also get like a Kai Pearce-Paul as well. I think if we can do that, so Hosking and Tuapiki to a Carrigan and a Kai Pearce-Paul, that would leave us with, so let's just say we went Carrigan. That's up 40k. That leaves us 260 in the bank. And then Tuapiki up to Kai Pearce-Paul is 130. That leaves 130 in the bank for Hines next week. Could be worse. Could be better. The The other option is if we don't go right to the top, and if Curran is playing on that edge, we go for Joshy Curran. That would leave us with Hughes, Salmon, Hutcho for dogs. And that's not too bad. We don't have Karaz in this setup. And likely, we're not going to be holding a Hughes, Salmon anyway. One of them would go. But even if we do have, 3 or 4 dogs, well, we wouldn't have that many. We'd have 3 by max at that point. If Curran was to come in, then Hughes likely goes anyway. They're low scorers for the most part, apart from Curran, like low price anyway. So yeah, it's potential. Let's just say we went and had that 160 in the bank. We've got Cleary already. Can we get Hines? And how would we get Hines? I don't think it can happen, can it? So that's interesting. We'd have to go double cheapy and then double trade next week. Sorry, 1 cheapy, 1 mid-price guy, and then get Hines the following week. Look, it's probably not the play now I'm thinking about it. Leave a bit of cash in the bank for one of these cheapies, and we can piss them off from there. Yeah, it's probably the way. Anyway, that said, Ted Squad, not a great week, but I think that we will be in a much better position after this one. That's for sure. Holding Cleary now, that'll be 2 weeks, and he'll have only 1 remaining, which is cool. And we'll make that decision from there, I reckon. So that's the squad at the moment. A couple of trades to be made. We'll only have 17 unless Chan is back or Piakura. It won't be Cleary. It won't be... Yeah. So we've got Chan, Piakura, Tuapiki, all potential, guys that can be named in this TLT. So we'll wait until that this afternoon. Thanks so much for being in this one. I hope you learned a lot from these 2 teams. And they're very different in their own way. And they're, after very different things. So, holding Cleary was, I think, a great decision in a head-to-head team. We're going to want him for the entirety of the season, so keeping him there, getting some good scores around that. Obviously didn't work out this week. I went for the cheaper guy. What it did work out, though, is I didn't get Seb Chris, and I got Blaze Talangi instead. So that worked out. Thank you for a couple of people that confirmed that was the best option with me when I was going through the trades video last week. We're going to go for a bit more safety with our captain as well, whether it's Fogarty, whether it's Terrell. That will be the play. There won't be any Paps or Drinkwaters or anything like that this week. And we'll sort this team out, and we'll get it on the right track and winning a few more of those head-to-heads over the next few weeks. Good luck with your teams, guys. I hope you did well in round 4.